Hello, and welcome to PCMag Live. I'm Dan Costa, he is Sascha Segan, and we have a killer show for you today. We're going to run down the top tech headlines, we're going to answer some of your reader questions, and we're going to pull one cool thing off the shelf in the lab to show you. First, we want to have these words from our sponsor, Intel. Intel's opening an all-new Intel Experience store in Nolita. They want to invite you to this unique, ever-changing environment that provides an opportunity to get your hands on all the latest Intel tablets, Intel 2-in-1s. Come in, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the local entertainment, and check out an exciting new way to shop for technology. They're also giving back. If you bring in your old electronics, they will recycle them to benefit local schools. You can catch the Intel Experience store at 262 Mott Street in Nolita in New York City. For more information, go to intel.com/stores. Now, on to the tech news of the day. It's Robot Week, evidently, in the tech world. First, Amazon comes out with a drone-based delivery system. Now, Google's Andy Rubin is basically announcing that Google has an entire robot division that he is heading up.
Yeah, I love this. Google has more divisions than anyone could possibly know about. They've been snapping up robotics companies. They bought 7 robotics companies, and now they've just decided they're going to build some robots. Okay.
And they're going to be focusing on manufacturing and you know, sort of the dry nuts and bolts of the robot industry. They're not building androids, as it were.
Yeah, I think one of the important things here is that they are looking to make, at least so far, at least from what we know, they're looking to make industrial robots. Robots that help put together, for instance, Moto X phones.
Okay,
and
don't bury the lead here. We're getting to that maybe later. Okay. But yeah, it's an interesting project. This is the thing I love about Google is that they have all these projects going on. They're teasing us about the future, and you know, there's some details. You can read them on PCMag.
My number one question is, are they going to build robots to shoot down the Amazon drones? Because clearly that is where we are headed. We are headed for the Amazon versus Google robot war, with all of us soft, fleshy humans caught in the middle.
That's right. Meanwhile, on slightly less dramatic news, there will be a new USB port coming out very soon, which is just as exciting and important to tech fans.
I love how this is like completely the Thanksgiving hangover week here in the tech industry, and everyone is so sleepy after 5 days of turkey leftovers. All we can get excited about is a new USB port.
Yeah, new USB port. It's called Type-C, and it solves precisely one problem. This new USB port will be reversible, so that you can put it in one way, you flip it over, it will still work. Everyone has experienced that problem.
So that if you're groggy after eating, say, 24 ounces of week-old stuffing, and you're desperately trying to plug in your phone with a little micro USB cable, but your vision is so blurry that you can't get it in the right way, well, this will solve your problem.
And also, I say 2 problems, because there's one is that the reversible issue, but also it will make this port go away. This is the curious port for the Note 3, which I grabbed and thought I could charge my Galaxy S3 this weekend with, and of course I cannot. Why is this USB port so unwieldy?
Because it's USB 3.
Yeah.
And as we've gone to USB 3, they've had to increase the number of pins, they're increasing the flexibility of the protocol, they're increasing the data transfer speeds, but the result is that they've created a port that is weird looking and requires large connectors. So the Type-C movement, which is probably going to take effect in 2014, is essentially a micro USB for the USB 3 era.
There you go. Also in the news today, Tom Wheeler, chairman of the FCC, has taken a bold stand and said that he will protect competition in the wireless industry.
He hasn't taken a stand yet.
He says he intends to protect competition in the wireless industry, which is good because that is sort of his job.
Exactly.
But he's gone on record as saying he's in favor of competition. What exactly that means, we will find out. There's this upcoming auction, and he hasn't said what he's going to do, but he does have some options.
Yeah, so the great looming, the penumbra over this whole conversation is that there's going to be another auction of very valuable low-band spectrum probably next year, what we're calling the 600 auction or the incentive auction. And in the last auction of low-band spectrum, which was the 700 auction, AT&T and Verizon bought almost everything. And in these auctions, typically AT&T and Verizon get first dibs at anything they want because they can bid more than any other carrier. So the FCC is starting to look at the question of, should some spectrum be set aside for the smaller guys, Sprint and T-Mobile, so that they don't end up just having to collect the dregs of what AT&T and Verizon don't want. Yeah. And if you look at Sprint and T-Mobile's networks and you think, oh, why are they having problems with coverage? Why are they having problems building this out? It's because their networks are, by and large, constructed from the bits and pieces that AT&T and Verizon didn't jump on first.
Yeah, I think that at this point, he's sort of announcing that there may be some voluntary concessions made, but he's basically positioning himself that there needs to be something to protect T-Mobile and Sprint. Otherwise, this is going to be a duopoly in the United States.
Needless to say, AT&T and Verizon do not agree.
No, they do not. But this is all, again, we're early days. We'll be following the story. You can get more on all these stories on PCMag.com. Now let's move on to a reader question that we got just this morning. We've got, this question comes from Nanoko, who's going to Japan. She has a Verizon Galaxy Nexus, and she wants to know, will that work in Japan for phone and texting, for voice calls and texting? And if not, what phone can she get so that she can have voice access while she's in Japan and in the United States?
So unfortunately, the Verizon Galaxy Nexus is a total doorstop in Japan. It works on no Japanese network. You could connect it to Wi-Fi and maybe use Skype over Wi-Fi in your house or your hotel room, but that isn't really a good solution. You're going to need to either rent or buy an international 3G compatible phone. And for that, what you need to look for is you need a phone with the 3G 2100 band, which is what is used everywhere outside the United States for 3G, including Japan. Now, if you're just going for a couple of days, Docomo rents phones at Narita Airport. I've done that rental. It's pretty easy. There's a phone rental kiosk right there. You can return it when you get back to the airport, but it gets expensive if you go more than a couple of days. If you intend to go to Japan frequently, you either want to buy a phone in Japan or you want to buy an international phone here and get a SIM card from a Japanese cell phone store. Now, we are going to get to the one cool thing, which happens to be a phone I suggest.
All right, let's move on to that one cool thing. We test thousands of products here in the lab every year. Every day we pull one thing off the shelf and show it to you live. Today, that one cool thing is the Moto G, not the Motorola G, the Moto G. Now, this phone, I look at it and I say, okay, well, it's another slab Android phone. What makes this phone unique in this market?
This is a high-quality unlocked phone for $179, and that is kind of outrageous to get this build quality, and I'm still testing it, but I presume this level of performance at this price with no contract.
Yeah.
Now, you have a pretty lovely phone here, 5-megapixel camera on the back. It has a couple of trade-offs. This is a 4.5-inch 720p screen. It has a 3G radio. It does not have LTE, and it doesn't even have particularly fast HSPA+, so the data connection isn't all that fast. But at this price, you know, it's competing with phones from these lesser-known manufacturers like Blue and Very Cool that are a little bit cobbled together. We've been reviewing them, and they're okay, but they don't have this level of refinement.
Yeah. So you'd think of it as the best low-end phone you can buy that's unlocked without a, I mean, we haven't finished testing it, but
yeah.
I mean, a really solid low-end phone you can get without a contract.
Now, one thing you do need to know is that I'm still looking into this. I haven't memorized the spec sheet yet, but it looks like there are separate US and international models. And if you intend to use it primarily outside the US, you want the international model because that's going to have international 3G bands, whereas the US version has AT&T and T-Mobile's 3G bands.
Yeah.
So if you do want one of these for Japan, you want to go get the international Moto G for $179.
All right, there you go. That very well could be her next phone. When are you going to have the review done?
Within the next couple of days. I'm taking it back to my desk as soon as we're done here.
All right, look for that on PCMag.com the next couple of days. Look for us on air tomorrow on PCMag Live. That's PCMag Live for today. And I'll ask you again, send us your questions, send them via email, on Twitter, on Facebook. We will answer them live on air. Thanks for tuning in.